That's a little bit deceiving. They need J-Dub in the lineup. Shams, as promised, we got a lot of injuries to go through today. So what do we know at this point about Jaylen's status?
Like I'm told, J-Dub is undergoing an MRI today on that left hamstring. There's obvious concern when it comes to the hamstring, and this is the opposite hamstring that J-Dub injured multiple times during the season, missed significant periods of time over the course of the year. And so we know the Thunder's history is always being cautious, especially with a soft tissue injury like this one. My understanding is the Thunder will know more later today and then tomorrow as far as his status is concerned. And you can see he immediately checks himself out of that game. Shams, thank you. We'll certainly check in with you tomorrow when we know more. Bobby, though, if J-Dub is to miss time, I think it's easy to say they're taking care of business against the Suns. When do you think that this team is really going to feel it?
Well, no disrespect to the Lakers or the Rockets, who would be their opponents in round two, but I think it would be a Western Conference Finals, just based on whether it be Denver, Minnesota, Portland, or even San Antonio, of course, here. I think when you look at the body of work this year, they're 15-0 when Jaylen doesn't start and you replace him with Cason Wallace in that starting lineup. So there is such a long body of work there as far as plug and play. But I do think, I mean, the playoffs are showing us is a bout of attrition as far as getting through day to day here. But I do think conference finals is where I would be concerned if he's not back in a lineup.
Well, they wouldn't have won the championship without him last year.
Right, that game five.
At game 5. And I don't know if they can win it again without him this year. But let's just see how he comes through this injury.
Yeah, absolutely. And it did look, I'm hoping that this is minor, maybe something that's more like grade 1. Again, they have to finish out this series against the Suns, but they are taking care of business, at least so far. So injuries, that's part 1, right, of the story of this game. I think part 2 is that the Suns, they were not happy with the officiating last night. Devin Booker, he took particular offense to this play right here, right? He was called for a tech after he was trying to save the ball out of bounds, but there's definitely a little bit of confusion on who exactly the technical was meant for. But let's just let Booker explain this in his own words.
In my 11 years, I haven't called a ref out by name, but James was terrible tonight, through and through. It's bad for the sport, bad for the integrity of the sport. You know, people are going to start viewing this as a WWE, you know, if they're not held responsible. I haven't won a championship in this league, but I have been in it for 11 years now. So to get to this point, to be treated like that, for me to even be saying something out loud, it's bad.
Yeah, Devin Booker, he isn't usually one who is saying things about the referees. Right. Before we weigh in on this, though, the Suns governor, Matt Ishbia, he did say this. He had Devin Booker's back. He said, quote, "I am 100% behind Devin Booker. If the referees are going to demand respect from the players should demand respect from the referees. And when a referee is missing calls and clearly disrespecting the players, almost mocking them," he said, "they must be held accountable." Nobody who loves this game enjoyed watching that last night. So, Mr. Marks, you did your homework. You went to the tape.
I did.
You watched back every single foul from
this morning.
last night?
I did.
Okay. So
why not?
We
have to.
Yeah. What did you learn?
Listen, if a player is going to call out the NBA and the officials and basically say WWE, we've got to go to the tape. Well, 2 things are going to happen here. Likely things. Devin Booker's going to get fined.
Yes.
And the T should be rescinded, I think, for that.
I agree.
I agree on that. 25 fouls for Phoenix, 21 fouls for Oklahoma City. Not big of a differential. If there is a player that has gripe, it's probably Colin Gillespie, who was whistled for 4 fouls, and I think 2 of them were questionable here. But Oklahoma City is a difficult team to play against. Besides being extremely talented, I think the word probably is annoying, right? As far as how they draw contact. Listen, if Ramona, put your arm out. I'm gonna put my arm out, and that's going to be a foul because they know how to bait you into calls there. And a lot of it's not just Oklahoma City. We're going to watch Jalen Brunson do it tonight probably in New York here, but they know how to draw fouls, and they're the best at it.
And you saw those 2 plays, like they were kind of back-to-back, where Devin Booker goes up, Alex Caruso leans in, okay? And you see Alex Caruso leaning in, but look at where his hands are. They're down. And I think that's a really big difference between the next play where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has the ball and his hands are up. Now, Chet's not even looking at the basket there. That's one of the calls you're talking about with Colin Gillespie. But there's a play that goes right back where SGA goes up against, and his hand is out. And so when your hand is up and you know how to draw that contact and you know how to exaggerate that contact, you're oftentimes going to get that call. But Alex Caruso's hands were down. So I don't think that should have been a foul on Booker, and I don't think it should have been a technical. But I see how the foul was called on the other side.
Right, and the frustration is mounting for the Phoenix Suns, who were able to stay in it, especially They were taking care of the ball. They were limiting those fouls. And so once it started to catch up with them a little bit here, we saw that just unravel. And I think that's, Bobby, where you get the frustration.
Well, and the funny thing is, when you watch the game again, Phoenix was probably at a B level. They played pretty well up to a point, but they come, as I said, they come at you in such different ways. And, you know, a 10-point lead gets to 20 all of a sudden, and a lot of it is attributed to some of these fouls that were called.
All right, so we have the Suns who are down in that 0-2 hole, and we take a look at the entire bracket here against the Oklahoma City Thunder. In the rest of the West, right, the Lakers, maybe surprisingly, because, again, injuries, that war of attrition, as you're talking about, Bobby, are up 2-0 on the Rockets. And then you see the Nuggets and the Timberwolves all tied up at 1-1. Interestingly, though, Aaron Gordon, he was downgraded to questionable as he's dealing with injury now. And then 1-1 for the Trailblazers and Spurs as that series shifts back to Portland now. So injuries has been the name of the game here, Ramona. I do want to check in on the Los Angeles Lakers, two of the biggest stars that we haven't seen yet in the playoffs. Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, what do we know?
Well, both of them are on the court, right? But one of them is actually doing a little more, and that's Austin Reeves. And so I think there's a sense, you know, we just passed that 3-week mark from when he first got injured. We're coming up on the 4-week mark, and the initial time frame was 4 to 6 weeks, and I think there is a chance. He's still got a lot of hurdles to clear. There's still benchmarks he's got to prove that he's healthy for. There's a chance that he could come back either later in the series or the next time. He's closer, from what I understand, than Luka Doncic is.
Okay, so Austin Reeves a little bit closer here. Hey, we got a lot to get to in this show, though. Still to come on NBA Today. Why don't we check in on those Detroit Pistons? Cade, Detroit bounced back in a big way last night. What fueled Detroit's turnaround, and can they carry that momentum into Orlando? Plus, as the series shifts to Minnesota, don't miss our feature on the connection. It's so sweet between Anthony Edwards and Timberwolves superfan Luka Wright. And earlier today, Dybantsa, he officially declared for the NBA draft. King McClure, he's going to join the show to tell us about the latest prospect rankings. NBA Today rolls on after this. Bobby, what would you say? It's been a couple of years since we had a draft class that was quite as deep as the one that's going to be walking across the stage.
This is deep.
Yeah, it really is. And earlier this morning, Dybantsa held a press conference, and he made it official.
Let me just say this before the news is already out there. Today, I'm officially declaring for the 2026 NBA draft. How does it feel now that I'm declared? I mean, it feels good. I mean, now the work starts again, all over again. I mean, I have a lot of NBA players tell me that it kind of restarts when you get there. So I'm just looking forward to that next step and being a rookie and learning from all the vets. And, you know, hopefully go win amounts of awards, numerous awards, win some championships. And then the next speech, the next big speech I should have is a Hall of Fame speech, so we should be good.
You know what? I love the confidence, right? So AJ, he makes it official. He's entering the draft where the top 10 overall prospects are all freshmen. This is according to our Jeremy Wu. And Dybantsa, the top-rated prospect, he finished the season with the third most points by a freshman in Division I history, just 9 fewer than Kevin Durant with Texas. That was back in 2006, 2007. So how about a little top of the top? I know we all watched him early in the tournament throughout the college season, but why not? A little